Hey everyone, welcome back to Chimey River. I'm your host, Shane Lamba. Happy New Year. It is 2026. We are starting with season 2. Yes, you heard that right. Season 2. I guess I'm doing a season per year. So join me this year in enjoying my rants, tirades, my soapbox, my shade, my tea or chai, and obviously the hotness of Chimey River. But first I want to really extend my gratitude, sheer joy for like the people that have been following me, listening, sharing, laughing, relating to the podcast, my stories, my content, and my crazy perspectives. Over about like 1,500 of you follow me on my podcast, kind of across, I guess, all the different social media outlets. So if you're new here, definitely click follow or subscribe to Chimey River or wherever you stream podcasts. You're not going to want to miss the video podcast because that's where the real hotness comes in. So enough about where to find me on social media. Again, for those of you who are new here, Chimey River is a podcast for the brown, the bisexual, the queer hotties who have a lot to say, a lot to spill, and a lot of depth. Thick depth. So today we have a super special guest, another queer Punjabi, rugby playing, mental health specialist, South Asian food connoisseur from the great city of New Orleans, baby. It is Joey Algier. Yes, welcome. Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Absolutely. My name is Joey Ojier. I do apologize for, one, the wind and background noise, which will change in 15 minutes when I'm let back inside. And two, apparently for the double mustache that's attacking everyone today. Two of us. So I'm here for that, and I'm sorry. You're welcome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been in the world for 7 years now. Moved to San Francisco, originally from the Midwest. And by that, I mean the mid, Kansas itself, which was also very mid and also mid all over the country. So we can get into that whole experience, see what that was like. As a little queer brown boy in Wichita, Kansas.
Oh, wow. Come on, Wichita.
Yep. Wichita. But I actually didn't even know I was Indian until I was like 21 or 22.
Oh.
Yeah. My biological mom was 4'8", white, blonde hair, green eyes. My great aunt adopted me on the maternal side.
Okay.
So I knew all of the like mother's genes. No idea. No one had any idea who the father was. So surprise!
Yeah.
All the people always thought I was Latino. People also stuff into the who hoped I was like native. But there's no trace that I had a mustache since I was 12. So it was like, there's no way I'm native. I took a DNA test when I was like 21, 22. 23 and me became super big. And surprise, whole half like Punjabi, like northern Indian diaspora.
Wow. That's cool. That's really cool. Yes, the mustache is usually like the giveaway. Like I had a mustache, I think, when I was like 10 or 12, like it was just coming in. And I feel like it's so funny because like back then, probably when we were that age, we were like, oh my God, this mustache, I got to get rid of it. And now it's like, if you don't have a mustache, who the fuck are you? Like, you're not giving. Like, you have to have a mustache now. Sorry for the non-mustache community. Yeah. Right, yeah. You can't sit with us if you don't have one or try to have one.
Yeah, if I can't see it in there somewhere.
Yes. Well, that's really interesting. I know like from, I think our conversations, I think more so how we've met, I think via social media, during like the paneroni, the pandemic, the tortelloni. I think a lot of people connected via social media. I know Instagram, TikTok, really hit it off, popped off at that time. And I think it was just really cool to have an opportunity to connect with people, across the country, across the globe. And I knew that you had been in San Francisco, but actually I had no idea that you grew up in Wichita. Maybe you can tell us a little bit, you were alluding to that, how it was mid, but also Midwest. Yeah, tell us about that. How was that experience?
Yeah. There's so much of it, especially growing up in like single parent household, intergenerational. My mom adopted me when she was 46. My little brother when she was 48. So she had one gay brown kid, and then surprise, my little brother is a black trans dude. Same mom, different dads. So, but we're the only two dark ones in the family.
Okay.
So, I mean, I'm sure people can relate to like the inaccessibility of like suburban life and American dream and picket fence and the things that just don't really fit.
Mm.
For a long time, I tried to like fit into those narratives. I found my identity in what I wasn't. Sort of like avoiding a lot of like myself when I trying to fit in, and it just did never worked. Never worked. So eventually, I became like really good at a few things. Like went all the way. I was like student body president. I was homecoming king, but I was completely not myself.
Okay.
And there's definitely parts of it that were myself. Like I got those things or like adhered to some sort of like genuinity of myself that people will recognize that.
Mm-hmm.
And I still carry a lot about like the bridge building and like the connecting and things like that on like what really kept I think me a little bit more focused. But yeah, I got out of there as soon as I could and just got right into religion. So that's
about to have a moment. We're about to have a moment with the chip.
So that's where, yeah, it's just gonna keep going.
Yeah. Okay. Wow. Okay. What made you kind of want to go into that? Like move on. Fear?
Absolutely.
Huh.
There's like a lot of like incongruencies of self, and religion sells you on this idea that it will either complete you or it can explain the things that you're told that make you incomplete.
Yeah, they're trying to play games with it all.
So it was a big actually part of like my sexuality was like I was indoctrinated to believe that like me liking boys was because I didn't have a dad. And it was just male affection I was searching for. So that for a long time, that was the root of the incongruence.
Oh, wow.
Went to some seminary school, had a undergrad in intercultural communications and relations.
Right.
And then moved to actually San Francisco, lived in a church parsonage in Palo Alto. And eventually was just like, I, again, became really good at it.
Yeah.
Was really into preaching, teaching, community building, all the things that you're supposed to. And then at some point I was like, oh, you can be a part of this organization or congregation, but you can't be in leadership because you can be openly gay.
Okay. The FAGs, girl, this is for the gay boys. You know
Oh.
You can like be gay, but you can't practice. And at that point I was like, fuck, I love you. I am too good at this.
Period.
You're not going to upset me. I'm moving to San Francisco and dating an older man who owns the oldest queer bar in the city. And
okay. Yeah, that's crazy. That's not crazy in the sense that you went to study theology, but like, well, yeah, well, I think how you mention it, like fear, right? In a way, you were trying to navigate your own insecurity potentially, right? And not me therapizing you right now. I'm not a therapist. I just talk like one. Bring it. I know, right? But like, I guess in a way, like, I mean, we've all kind of been there. I actually, like when you mentioned, in high school, you were a student body president, you're a class, I was also in that. So it's like so similar that we were experiencing a very almost parallel life in the sense that, I was also student body president. I was also very involved in my high school. But for me, it's interesting. I never, like my coming out was more so like in college. I always knew like I liked women. Like that was always like something that I knew about myself, and I didn't really think about men in that way. Like I didn't really have feelings of towards men until I was like 18 or 19. And I guess in my household, you know, like my parents never really enforced like this strict idea of like what a man was supposed to be. And I think, you know, I benefited obviously from that a lot because I was able to appreciate aspects of femininity and masculinity intermixed. And I didn't think like man is X and woman is Y. But it's interesting because there are points where you do things in your life to try to understand your fear, right? And like maybe also avoid the reality of what it is by trying to figure out like why am I like so gung-ho about this and caught up on this. So it's really fascinating. And bringing you to San Francisco, like, so you ended up going to Palo Alto or SF to do theology, and then you ended up kind of being rejected from those folks.
Yeah, it was like an intense, like, welcoming, but it was like the invitation of like, oh yeah, you can be at the table, but there's certain limitations of like, you're only on a stool, you're behind everybody, you're not literally, but like the table and food and congregating was a big part of the program.
Oh wow!
And it just like became this perfect personification of like I put out what would be myself here, and like all of the like therapeutic wise maladaptive traits that I was using, I'm still unlearning those motherfuckers. When it comes to like sex, sexuality, intimacy, trust, etc. And so not in ways that like they're not very maladaptive anymore, but they're not fully formed. They're not like where they should be developmentally as a 32-year-old.
Oh, okay.
But there's no like actual expectation of that because we all know a bunch of like man children who are way more immature. Queer people who grew up wearing mini masks who are really good at a lot of things.
Yeah, we're jack of all trades in a way. I don't usually like the saying jack of all trades, master of none, because I do feel that, yeah, like you mentioned, we wear so many masks and we have to. I mean, it's the way to survive and it's the way to, you know, assimilate into our culture, into, you know, our multiple cultures that we hold, whether that be where we grew up, our family, our friends, our, you know, schooling, etc. I think, yeah, we probably have a high percentage of these maladapting coping strategies, but at the same time, they're maladaptive because there's no choice sometimes. Whereas like maybe for straight people, they have choices, right? It's just, oh well, I'm gonna go drink now, and you know, or I'm gonna go have like do reckless behaviors, but that's the norm. Like the norm is heteronormative, so it's almost like a way for us obviously to survive.
Yeah, I think there's a big difference too when we get into it of like maladaptive versus underdeveloped, and then also like coping mechanism versus detrimental. I am a big proponent of coping strategies, and I fully believe that anything can be a coping strategy up until a point. When it stops being useful, then that's when we need to get rid of it. And of course, there are some things that are beneficial on the get-go, probably like, you know, some harder drugs and things like that that don't lead to any sort of actual coping, just asking. But I'm a big proponent of that in terms of like harm reduction and versus abstinence and things like that. Which is probably, I was thinking about one of my soapbox. What would I go? I'm like, abstinence. Abstinence is such bullshit.
Okay.
So, like, creating the sin as a thing that we shouldn't do only makes you want it more. Only makes you want to explore it. And I think that was a big thing for like my maladaptive behavior for like risky sex and like kind of like diffusion of self and this like dichotomy of like who I was. I was like really good and successful, but then also like sneaking around and sleeping with married men in college. Who I'm like, I never talked to them again. Was it completely safe?
Right. Well, I mean, you're like, you know, look at you, and you could tackle somebody. Oh, okay. Well, I didn't mean like that. I just meant like if you're doing rugby. Big or not?
Not a sports girly until the age of like
Oh, wow. Okay. Very recently then. Okay. Cool. That's interesting. I've been a sports person since my whole life, like since I was 12. I played soccer and then I did track and then I had a stint of like gymnastics for a little bit. And I was like, I'm too big for this. But soccer was like my thing. I played soccer for like 12 years. And then, yeah, like, I mean, and then I got into weightlifting because my cousin was a personal trainer. He was a bodybuilder. So I got into weightlifting and I've been doing that. But that's interesting. I mean, sports, I feel like as a queer person, and I was going to ask you some questions about that later, is probably like an interesting experience too, like, particularly when your group is all like LGBTQ. But I'll ask you that a little bit later.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, the big segue, like, as a coping mechanism is like sports, and there's things that it brings out that, like, if you don't feel it, you're just a giant asshole and like making your shit about everybody else.
Yeah.
Or fear is
Yeah.
an actual emotion, but once you feel those, if you go through them, you become like balanced and create an equilibrium of how to deal with conflict and how to deal with like things that feel like they matter a lot, but they don't, because it's a fucking game. Because who cares?
Yeah.
But it really does translate over to like high stress situations and things like that.
Yeah. And you were saying like coming out, or you were saying, growing up in Wichita, having it be very, in a way, like, I guess, conservative, very narrow-minded, like very zoomed in community. I'm wondering, like, maybe you can tell us like how what was your coming out kind of process? You don't tell me the story, but just like the process, or if how did that go for you? How did you know you were gay or queer? Or
it's really interesting because like I knew from an early age, because of the things that I was like looking at, or the things that were treating me, or like the memories that I have of like neighborhood older boys, and
okay.
like I have two like intergenerational brothers. So growing up, my brothers were kind of in the house. One was like 30. He's like 20 something years older than I am. And then the other one's like 4 years older than that. So I saw the hetero. So either we're born and we crave things, or I saw how fucked up and shitty just being hetero was. And we're just like, I guess I'll just suffer through it. Just kidding in that regard. But I think there was a big part that I just was innate. I just always kind of knew.
Okay.
But then it was the explanation of religion that started like a bi-purification of myself. I'm not going to start to hate myself and hate that part of it. Try to like explain it away and get rid of it. And it actually really became because of like taking a systematic theology class, which was one of my favorites in college. And systematic theology is kind of like everybody who writes in theology, like theologian-wise, has like theories of creation,
Okay.
theories of sin, theories of church, like theories of death, theories of the afters, and things like that.
Okay.
And digging through that, I got to this point where it was like, okay, if time is relative, I'm going to do ability here. If time is relative, then like maybe I'm not going to be healed from this affliction of same-sex attraction, in the words that they use. I'm not going to be healed of this side of eternity. And so then what is the good purpose of life? What is the purpose of relationship? And I just kept digging into that. And it was like, if my sexuality or behavior or attempt for intimacy and connection prevents me from the like an ultimate part of life and the afterlife, then that's not like a God or creator that I can believe in whatsoever. Like, if we believe that relationships are integrated and from an existentialist perspective, theologically and therapeutically, the cores of like the existential givens are about life, love, relationship, creativity, things that make us feel alive versus the things that make us feel dead, isolation and like hatred and like everything that's like good leads to everything being connected. Everything bad usually leads from like separating myself from other people or myself.
Okay.
So it really became like the point of like, if my sexuality is that big of a deal, then fuck all of this, nothing matters.
Okay. Huh. Yeah.
So that was like the internal process.
Sure.
Externally, it took a long time. And actually, one of like, the biggest things that somebody said to me was, when are you going to become the main character in your own story?
Okay.
And that's one of the things that like stuck with me for like how I was practicing my way into being like a side character or like still being fearful of my sexuality and things like that.
Did you grow up like religious? Is this like kind of, is that what stemmed you to be in theology? Like, okay.
I think so, but then also like I became like the Jesus freak of the family. It like so fucked. I held onto it so tightly because like there were like mentors or like youth pastor that like became like family to me.
Okay.
And I started to like emulate and not even in belief, but more so in like practice and like how much I was into it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then I became the one who was like Bible thumping my trans little brother, who was just like a big old dyke at the time.
Oh, okay.
Who was like, he came out as a lesbian when he was like 16, 17, was a menace.
Okay.
Went to like alternative high school to graduate.
Okay. Yeah.
Just do the right thing. Just be good. Like,
yeah.
Very religious.
Right. You were being Glinda. You're Glinda. Just be good, honey. Everyone loves you.
Okay, like student body president.
Oh.
We were both wearing masks. Mine was just way more consumable for people.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, I guess, it's, yeah, I mean, for me, like, I didn't really grow up, like, religious. I'm trying to think, like, I wouldn't say that I grew up religious. I can say to myself today, like, as an adult and even, like, as a teenager, I was religious and spiritual in the sense that I loved, like, celebrating my, like, holidays. I loved, Diwali, like, all the Vaisakhi, like, Lodi, like, all those things, all the Sikh holidays, Indian holidays. I enjoyed celebrating them because I was getting to be a part of my identity as my culture. But I also grew up with a lot of like Indian people around me in the Bay Area because I grew up in the Bay. So for me, like, it was very heavy Indian, Asian influence. But also, like, I had people from all walks of life. And like, for me, like, personally, my parents never really took me to the Gurdwara like that often. My mom and dad didn't really care to go that often. Like, my mom grew up going very frequently when she, like, growing up in Canada, but like, she and my dad didn't really care to send me and for us to go like that often. And I guess for me and my family also is really small. Like, I'm an only child. So, and then growing up, my aunt, my Mossy, is my mom's twin. So like, I have two cousins. So really it was just like the three of us that grew up together, and we weren't inherently like religious, but it's interesting because other people who were Indian around me were. And when they saw that I didn't have to do all these things, go to the temple, do all these pujas, do all these like spiritual things, they would get jealous. And if they're listening right now, fuck y'all bitches. But they would get jealous. No, really, I don't give a fuck about them anymore. But like, so it's interesting because you are going into religion to kind of soothe yourself, to figure out yourself. I wasn't into that, but because I wasn't into being Indian enough, right? Because obviously Shane Lamba is so like vague. Shane is not an Indian name at all. There was also this layer of like, oh, you're not Indian enough, you're not Indian enough, and because of that, we don't like you. So for me, my struggle like with religion and culture and identity was actually never being Indian enough, because I didn't have to do all the things that my friends' parents made them do. I didn't have to be a straight A student. I already was a straight A student. I didn't have to try. But like, I was that bitch. Like, I've been that bitch since day one. And I knew myself. I was very sure of myself. Like, my friends always say, like, how come you're so, like, you're so confident, you're so sure of yourself? I'm like, well, because I was always sure of myself. The only time I wasn't sure of myself was when I was 18 to 22. That's when I figured out I was bisexual. That's when I figured out I was like, wait, I don't think I can like men, right? Because I don't see people like me
See the terror. We're gonna see what atrocities they have at the
who like men, right? Like when we watched, like we grew up with Glee probably, right? I didn't really watch Glee too much, but I watched it in the sense because it was on ABC, so like, you know, it's there. We didn't have Netflix back then. I mean, we did, but it was like the CD Netflix. So, you know, like that was the only time you got to see gay people, right? And like, who were they? They were white, right? They were like the very stereotypical feminine gay white twink. Right? So like you didn't see somebody with like a hairy chest, you didn't see somebody with brown skin, mustache, the mustache, right? Like you didn't see any of that. And you just, or like whoever you did see who looked like you was Raj from Big Bang Theory, right? I think I was talking about
Religion.
yes, religion. Okay. This is good because I'll put a section in that other part. Okay, yeah. So, you know, like I think what's interesting is that for me, like growing up in a predominantly like Indian area, like heavy Asian influenced area, I just never really fit in. And I think, you know, to your question or to your comments about how you ended up kind of trying to navigate through religion to figure out your own fears and stuff. I almost did like the opposite. I was trying to connect with my community where people who, you know, you think that they're going to accept you, they're going to be open to you because you're the same background. And then they slap you on your face, you know, they like show you their real true colors. So for me, it's actually interesting that sentiment really challenged myself, like stuck with me, and it challenged me to make more like queer friends. So, you know, you're saying like maladapting behaviors, you know, so I was over there as well. I went to Vancouver, I studied at the University of British Columbia. Like when I was living there, you know, that was my maladaptive strategy. It was like have sex. Like, you know, I think we've all been there, like have sex with people, connect with people, you know, do things that you know are probably not great, but you're going to do them anyway because you're trying to have a sense of connection and like comfort. And you know, that's what I was doing. I was tearing it up.
the girls who are loose, honey, the girls who are wide open, the hungry girls.
I was going through it. Like I was, yeah. Like, so it's interesting that I tried to fit in with my own community of Indian people. They rejected me. So in efforts for me to find, you know, queer friends, it was just hard because I thought, well, if I am Indian and like my own Indian people didn't accept me, how are people who are supposed to be gay, bisexual, queer, how are they gonna accept me? So I guess I'm gonna do the most opposite thing is and fuck everybody and like, you know, be a hoe. And like I'm gonna just do that because that's gonna give me a sense of feeling like I'm high and mighty, right? Oh, I'm attractive, so I'm high and mighty, I'm high on the totem pole. So like I it's interesting how stories can be so uniquely different, but the core feeling is still there of like not feeling enough, right? Not being heard enough.
Yeah, like they intertwine, starting completely different points, but intertwine. I think that that's like a really big part of like, I mean, when we get to the root of it, it's like the human connection experience is that, right? Like you decided to do something that took you away from where you thought that you should belong, but couldn't. And then mine's like, I tried it. Like I had none of those. Like I had like, one of the things I read one time was talking about the like how coming out as a white experience because there's so much more integrated in most brown communities, right? And that's not just like that's like American versus really, where you have like intergenerational households where you have these like expectations to take care of your elders and things like that. And so it just became like coming out is such a minuscule part of that. Because and it's a roundabout way to think about it, but it's like because it shouldn't matter that much, and it also does that. Which it kind of like the same thing as like, I don't see color. I've always loved you the way you are. It's so much more bullshit to me than it is like I love you because of it.
Mm-hmm.
Like it, I want to appreciate you for those things, not just incorporate you into my perspective. So coming out oftentimes like is for other people. Like it's not for us. It's for societal like expectations and hierarchy and I mean there is some healing in it, of course. But I also think it's like complete bullshit. Like we don't have hetero people come out to people and say that they're heterosexual.
Right.
So like while sexuality and like that balancing is super important, and like a statement for us, but that's only because the power differential has been offset so much for so long. And that's the same thing with like, what about reverse racism? Like it doesn't exist because the power differential has been offset for so long that it's only on one party to make it up, and it shouldn't be the oppressed.
That's a really good point. And I'm curious, like, you know, what do you think, like, so maybe this is another kind of direction, but when you did find out that you were, you know, part Punjabi, like North Indian, how do you feel like that maybe intersected with your identity? Like, were you feeling kind of almost like a second coming out, like figuring out like that you were in like Indian, but also at the same time LGBTQ?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I remember finding out and then I walk in the mall and there's like those pillars or like little random mirrors set up and just catching a reflection of myself, being like, oh, fuck, that's what I look like? Because for so long I was trying to adhere to like dominant cultural narratives and like being white. And so it was kind of, well, why am I not being accepted this way? Why am I not getting the same treatment? And it's like, oh shit, I can see myself for brown in the brownness that I am, like queer, as in like weird,
Yeah.
or like fitting into that narrative. So it started to make more sense. And strangely enough, that was like 2017.
Okay.
It did maybe like 2015, 2016, 2017. I think it was like right around graduating college.
Yeah.
I didn't really like find ways to connect with it until 2020 for the pandemic. I mean, there was definitely like healing, but even calling myself like a POC
Sure.
was like that took time and encouragement from like the core relationships.
Okay.
So to be like, you can say it.
Yeah.
You can access it. And so like you're talking about before, like who was saying that you were not Indian enough, and it was funny. I don't know if anybody ever really said that to me. I was definitely saying this myself. And like the connections during the pandemic. One of them was actually became pen pals with Sonal Vegan. She's she writes for Taste Made India, Vogue India. She has a book called Tiffin, and we were out shopping for some like stuff, and my ex found a Tiffin, like just the stainless steel like
Yes.
ones.
Yes.
I had no idea. I didn't know how to access.
Okay.
And then he bought me for my birthday. Bought me the cookbook called Tiffin.
Okay.
Tiffin to her. He named pen pals.
Oh wow.
Food is the biggest thing for me.
Yeah.
For accessing Indian heritage.
Yeah, that's sorry, go ahead.
No, you're fine. I mean, it was the biggest connection, and like now I'm a part of like a Bhangra dance crew in New Orleans when we dance in like parades during Mardi Gras time.
Yeah.
Like, and everybody else feels not Indian enough too. Like I have people who are like first or second generation American and from like rural Louisiana, but their families came over and they're like, well, I don't feel Indian enough. And they're all way darker. They're all like connected to their history, and I'm like, none of us fucking feel whatever enough. And so I started to like lean into it more. And like, well, if I lead with it, and then people question it, it's like, well, why are you questioning it? It's kind of like you're so exotic. Where are you?
Yeah.
And I'm doing that to myself, right?
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, you know, it's funny, like the feelings of being enough from your cultural, racial, ethnic background, but then also being like, you know, sexual minority or gender minority. Like it's interesting because, yeah, I'm also in that same boat, probably with some of your peers or folks that have mentioned this, like as third generation. You know, that's the difference, right? Like there are a lot of different characteristics. Like I saw with my friends who were basically like first or second gen, they were kind of putting those levels of insecurity on me that they had on themselves, right? And for me, like I guess I never, felt in a way like I felt not enough because I felt that I can't contribute to my culture because nobody wants to accept me for, who I am and what I do and how my crazy family, like my family's crazy. Like, like we're like, my grandpa came on a ship in the 1920s to Canada. So he's been in Canada from India since then, right? I mean, he's passed now, but like, the family lineage has started in that realm for so long. The way my parents grew up, I mean, my dad is from India, but he immigrated to America in the 80s. My mom is born and raised in Vancouver. And that whole like history of being raised and working through your own identities and then putting the things that you didn't like people putting on you back in the 60s, 70s, and the 80s, you don't want that for your kids. So then you change yourself, you change your levels of parenting. And obviously I benefited from that, right? Like I benefited from the sense that, you can be Indian, you can celebrate Christmas, you can celebrate this, you can do that. We're very immersed in our culture and we took pride in that. And I think when it comes to feeling kind of lost, definitely even with that being secure, you still feel lost. You still feel like, oh, like that's crazy that people who actually are darker than you like still feel that way, and the exoticness of it. Like I know back in the day, like when I was 19, 20, I never used to tell people that I was Indian. Like I would always get Latino. I always get Latino or Middle Eastern. And this is like a running joke, even with my friends today. It's the reason why I made this fucking podcast is because I always get mistaken for Latino or Middle Eastern or Persian. It's never Indian because their picture of Indian is nerd, geeky, can't be sexy, can't be hot, can't be confident, right? So it's like all these insecurities that people have of themselves, they're putting them on other people, right? They're the picture, the social structure of it all.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, like even if you dig into those things, a big portion of those things being pushed on are because of other coping mechanisms that people had. We had to become nerdy or smart because when it meant succeeding, it meant security, it meant honoring your family. Ancestors, hear my plea. Security, it meant honoring your family because the root of the matter is that family is important. How do I take care of my family? Well, I dedicate my life to being intelligent or these things. And so they become quips of like power dynamics that when we actually look at them and you can construct them at the root of it is something like very beautiful. And we can still do that while also like being completely like inclusive to the different identities of that, like practicing our way into who we are like supposed to be for better versions of ourselves. So many different ways that it's like you're not fucking special. Like the family that immigrated over, not fucking special. You're not the first one to immigrate. You're not the last one.
Yeah.
So like release a little bit of that. And that's actually one of the things from like understanding cultural competencies in therapy is that like parents, like immigrant parents who are trying to help their kids assimilate often put much more fear into them that makes them like afraid of the scenario that they're around. And they're worried about falling apart.
Don't do this to me. The ask was
and like the you're not special comes in there because that you're not important enough to be able to like make or break your family assimilation into society.
No.
But we wear that because it's a protective technique because our families don't want to lose it. So then they end up like maladaptively put around the kids and then becomes these things of like, well, I can't do dirty and I can't do this, or I have to be those things to be able to survive.
Yeah. No, absolutely. What would be your kind of top advice to people who are struggling with being LGBTQ and, are also they see Punjabi, Indian, like what would you say to those people like after you've experienced, going through your own stories of yourself?
Yeah, I mean, like a big part is like you're not that special. Like I think like that at the root of it is like there's nothing that you can do wrong in your life at that point of like that hesitation of like, what do I do with all these things?
Yeah.
There's nothing, I would contend, like if you have close relationships or like one person to trust,
Yeah.
like you can fail. Like failing or like fucking it up is all totally okay. Like, and then part of that too is like one of the things that I actually kept for religion in a lot of this is like Brene Brown level kind of change stuff.
Okay.
But there's actually like a modern monk named Richard Rohr.
Okay.
One of his things is that everything belongs, right? So even to connect it separately was like needing to do schoolwork, needing to like study, having all these different things going on. And like I just wanted to watch TV and wanted to cope in my own way. And I remember a friend who's also a therapist now, who was like, "What if you just let yourself do it?" And like once we like let ourselves entertain these ideas that we think are bad for us,
Yeah.
we start to realize that like we don't want them in the same way. Once I was like, okay, you can have anonymous, like sexy cruising situations. It lost a lot of like the like informal power. It became empowering where it's like, oh, I can control this. I don't need to be subjected to what's happening. I can actually control it and be like a participant in it. And I think a lot of times that fear by thinking that we're special and that if we fuck it up is become us being reactive rather than like assertive in that kind of a scenario. And so Richard Rohr would say like everything belongs, like it all can be a part of the story. And I would contend that like good or bad is only directional.
Okay.
And it's everything is just great. Like nothing's actually good or bad. Morality, maybe this is my soapbox. Like morality is a made up concept. Like the root of it is, are you doing things and behaving in a way that is added value to yourself and to other people? Or are you commodifying and reducing value of yourself or people or the things around you? And in religion, they would call like shit, right? Stewardship of the earth, stewardship of relationships.
Yeah.
So it's like that's really what I would like boiling up in my case would just be like, just fucking try it. See what you don't like, wear heavy eyeliner, straighten your hair, be goth for a little bit, like things that are more at it to figure out if you like any part of it, right?
Yeah.
Dress up super thinny and just try to wear heels and go to the bar and see how you feel and if you love it, or like it'll expose parts of yourself that maybe like you've been hiding, or it'll expose parts of yourself that maybe you're incongruent. Like, cause I like the whole thing. Like, I didn't watch Glee, in real time. I watched it actually in California. Watched the whole thing with a roommate I had.
Yeah.
Won't name names, but he's so queer, but he's not gay. He's like, we haven't talked in so long about this kind of stuff, but looking back, I'm like, you were so queer.
Yeah.
And that's also one of the things where it's like, feed my brain about queerness. But again, like, all the people I went to high school with were perks.
Okay.
Like, yeah, it's white guys, straightened hair, real thin.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, I can't be that because I don't look like that.
Yeah.
It must not be. Something else has to be wrong.
Yeah.
And even when I tried to like go that direction, like I was a Lululemon gay. I worked at Lululemon and Truth in the Kitchen in Palo Alto, California. Did Soul Summit.
No way. Wait a minute. Wait a damn minute. When did you live in? When did you live there? Because I used to work in Palo Alto.
2016, 17, 18.
I had just moved back from Vancouver in 2018 because that's like my stomping ground. The Lulu on University Ave, the Soul Cycle. Like, I mean, I don't do Soul Cycle, but like the Lululemon was my stomping ground. I will throw ass for Lululemon. Like, it's a Vancouver special. I call it the Vancouver special. I have so many. I just went there a few days, like last week, and bought some stuff after a very, very long time, which obviously I'm going on a tangent, but let's just talk about those motherfucking pants.
Then when I worked there.
There you go. See, I can tell. I got a taste Yes, years ago. I still have pants from when I was living in Vancouver in 2014. I have a pair of pants. I think I have 6 or 7 pants, but they're still good. Still to this day, they're still good. And like one thing about them, I kind of like went off in a hating pattern with them because I was like, you know what, I'm so over it. I keep spending all this money, blah blah blah. But it's a personal problem. But then I stopped buying clothes from there because I was like becoming more like, you know, an Adidas and Nike fuck boy. So like then I was, you know, yeah, I was trying to go for that like, you know, real Punjabi like narrative of the fuck boy. And then I stopped wearing that. Then I went back to Lululemon. But it's like I just, you know, let's talk about it. Like Lululemon. I will throw ass for Lululemon. I will. It's
Why does your butt look so much better than mine? I'm like, hey,
yeah.
let's get you in a pair.
Let's get you let's get you in those aligned pants, girl. Those aligned pants. Yeah, it's
I try all of it now. Like, I know what I like in New Orleans. I'm like, not even butch. I'm just like, I literally like last year it was like, let's give Parisian or Italian toast. And then this year it's very much like I'm giving what's her name? I'm giving Lisa what's her face from Parent Trap. Like that's my
oh, okay. Okay, good, yeah. No, and I like that.
I'm like giving full Parent Trap Michelin tea, flannel, oversized, baggy.
There you go.
And
you know,
mustache. I'm like trying the long hair. Like you just find things and you'll figure out what you like and what you don't like. So my biggest piece of advice is like don't take it too fucking seriously.
Yeah.
Like nothing, you're not that powerful that like if you make one decision and then it doesn't go your way, that you're like it's all detrimental and downhill from here. Everything's about practicing our way into it. It's whether that's good decisions, or good for us decision, or whether those are bad for us decisions.
Mm-hmm. That's excellent, and those are excellent points because what I find with like growing my like friendships and my networks with people and connections is that, you know, just even rooting ourselves like being Indian and growing up with this mentality, like, you know, I'm sure you're aware, like the model minority myth. I talk to people about it and like a lot of my friends about it in general. You know, that perspective of like we have to be the best, right? Perfectionism is essentially like embedded in our culture. Like you have to be perfect, like you have to be perfect, you have to be a great student, you have to go to school, you have to get a degree, you have to be married, you have to have kids, and bam, right? And those things transcend through various mechanisms, through various connections, and they actually get put on the kids a lot. Like again, like while my parents weren't like you gotta get married, you gotta get good grades, blah 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 blah, those things still come up in different conversations and different, you know, different things from other family members who may still think like that. And I think with the queer Indian folks, a lot of the times what I find is that they're still trying to be heterosexual, right? They're still trying to be heteronormative, and they're, like you said, they're not trying something new. It's like you can be gay, you can be all these things, but you can't mimic your life to be heterosexual. Like you're never going to be the man in a heterosexual relationship or situation because you're not heterosexual. You're not in that lifestyle. That's not your experience. And I feel like a lot of people who are Indian or queer and queer or LGBTQ, they often fall into that trap where they're displeasing themselves. They're not really getting to be authentically themselves because they're still worried about, again, what people are going to talk about. So I really like what you mentioned is like try something new. If it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. I think what the fear is in the culture, in the Indian culture, is like failing, right? Being a failure.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, a big part of that too is like, what's the worst case scenario, right? Like, it's a very cognitive, behavioral, like therapeutic. It's like, what's the worst case scenario? And what's the best case scenario? Okay, now what's the most likely? And that like diffuses our fear and anxiety. And so, like, that's one of the biggest ways to cope with it is just like anxiety is going to exist. It's not about therapy and self-reflection and what we do in our life is not about getting rid of anxiety. It's about how we like use it, how we like move through it.
Right.
Always say like I did my master's kind of like programming at a
Yes.
arts high school.
Okay.
I loved like kids doing like drawing and like some of the best artists I've ever seen, like at 16, 15 years old, and being like, you're not special. And then being like, well, what's the worst case scenario? Like, and then just like, no, right? Like all these expectations and all these things that they have start to like pull away from themselves and start to take themselves not too seriously. And that's where we finally meet ourselves. We like, they move through the emotions, like the anxiety. Always like, so I was like, well, I shouldn't feel that way. It's like, well, you did, right? If all the way through that emotion, like the wave, if you ride it back to shore, it's probably going to end up being smaller and sandier than you thought it was going to be. But if you hold on to the rest of the waves multiple times, that like anxiety and anger is it's going to have to crash.
Yeah.
Right? It has to crash. But if you ride it back to shore, it's like the waves always like come back in, right? And go through these like receding patterns. And that's the only way to move through it to really understand.
Yeah.
And it's actually one of the things for me was sports. There were so many times that like growing up, trying sports in college, doing intramurals, just angry. Like I think anytime that I felt embarrassed, less than rage, just rage. And it wasn't even like fighting or things like that. It was just like temper. And I think it would take some good amount of in-depth therapy to dig into revisiting those places.
Yeah.
But it started to happen like rugby stuff where like I'm either known to be a little spicier.
Okay.
And then now it's like I'll still do it, but I also like it doesn't matter now. Like getting spicy is only for fun. It's not about me. I disconnect with myself from the outcomes.
Okay.
And it's helped like be a better leader on rugby. Better at rugby.
Sure.
My way through it because like the emotional blockage of like being embarrassed or something.
Yeah.
Prevented from like returning to the sport in that moment and like stepping my pussy up and doing it better. And there's multiple times that like afterwards talked to my coach and just like cried.
Okay.
But it wasn't like a bad thing. But I felt like I didn't do this and this. And they're like, you literally just did this like really incredible play.
Yeah.
You're okay. And so there was so much of that was like, there was so much communication through the sport, through myself and through like my mentors or teammates.
Yeah.
Talking to young Joey. They're talking to high school Joey. They're talking to like baseball, big screen Joey. They're talking to soccer, Smith, like second grade Joey. And so like I think that those are also parts of it. Like it doesn't have to be sports. It can be some sort of art. Fine motor or attention to detail for a lot of those things. Throwing my body around and talking shit, running around in short shorts. Gang.
Hauling ass. Hauling ass.
Ass, shaking ass, flapping ass.
Grab it. You know, sometimes you just gotta grab it. There has to be something to grab.
There's nothing better than walking out on a rugby pitch with like I do play on a couple of like straight teams.
Okay.
Walking out and like talking shit by being like, your shoes don't even match your kid. You like rugby. Walking out and being like, what's up, bottoms?
Yeah, well.
It's like looking butch and then talking shit. I'm all about a juxtaposition.
Yeah.
All about juxtaposition.
You need to. Sometimes, well, I think first of all, if you're straight and you're playing rugby, you definitely are gay. Because I don't know what man would be wearing 5-inch inseam, booty caked up shorts, and you got all that cake. Oh, you know they're getting pegged. You know it's getting busted.
The girls who have been wrecked and destroyed.
It's like... I need this just as a clip. I need you to cut just this 5 seconds out and be like, if you play rugby, he's a little gay.
You're a little gay, yes!
I'm not defending these people. And that's also, like, I want to say that I will say, even, like, talking shit like that, I'm like, everybody's a little queer. And it can look a lot of different ways.
Yeah.
Like, if you're not, you're just underdeveloped. Like, I've explored things, but I'm like, I'm more gay than I want to be. I want to be more pansexual, but I'm, like, a little too gay.
Okay.
It's not my fault.
Right.
I've explored it.
Okay.
So it's like, if you're exploring it, I'll accept whatever answer you give me. If you don't explore it, you're just a bitch.
You're right, yeah. Well, that's the problem, too, is, like, when you like pussy, it's just, like, it could be anything, you know? the front or the back. Like, it's the front or the back. Like, you know, just, but that, the both, yes. No, and it's just crazy because you're right. Like, you can't be straight. Like, you can't, like, why are you straight? First of all, let's get on our soapbox. I got my soapbox. I got my little thing. We got to get on our soapbox. Now, you were talking shit. Yes. I don't partake in that shit. But, you know, you were talking shit about a lot of things. What is something that you want people to take away? What really grinds your gears? What pisses you off?
I'm like, part of it, I want it to be like something like real, but I also want it to be something that just causes an uproar and people to like come for me. It's like, am I the drama?
And well,
is it me?
Mm-hmm.
Is it me, Jesus? Let's see. Besides being straight, being not real.
Right. It's fake.
So that's just like being straight is fake.
Yeah. You hear that? You guys being straight.
I mean, honestly, one of the biggest ones is abstinence. Abstinence?
Yes.
Bullshit.
Okay. Go off.
Tease. So I think maybe to like contextualize that, it's like people who live or die by what they do or don't are just bitches.
Yeah.
Like if you're holding so tightly to something as big as religion or as small as like, I don't mix my liquors. You mix your liquors, like anything that causes like that sort of judgment or expectation of other people, like you're just a bitch. Like, I don't drink that. Tequila makes me angry. No, bitch, drinking makes you because you're just a nightmare. When you usually take tequila after you've had 4 cocktails, bitch, start doing tequila shots.
Yeah.
You're gonna blame it on you being maladaptive and like not being able to express yourself. All the way up to like religion and like even tradition, right? Like there's a big difference between religion and tradition.
Okay.
I love the Catholic Church, like monks' theories of space and like Saint Francis. Like that bitch was gay as hell. He's out there talking to trees, running around naked.
Right.
He literally like inherited like the church and then was like, fuck this, dad. I can't do it. I'm taking all of this off. I make it to like reject you and the church and I'm running into the woods.
Yeah.
Faggot.
Right.
Like
FAGs, girl, this is for the gay boys. You know the gay boys, they level
a girl right there.
Yeah. Say it, faggot.
Right? So, like,
we love saying
you're holding so tightly to something. You're kind of a bitch.
Well, it's because their buttholes are tight. See, that's the problem. It's like when they're abstinent, like abstinence in general, like you were saying, it's because their booty holes are tight. They're not getting turned out. Like, see, the one thing about the gays is, they're getting their shit rocked, you know? And I always say, if it's too tight, it ain't right.
On with a wet pussy in a dry purse. And that's just what a lot of y'all did. Came home with a wet pussy and a dry purse because y'all didn't even get nothing to eat for free. Dumbasses.
And that's the problem with these bitches. You know, first of all, fuck you if you don't drink tequila. I also hate those bitches. First of all, I love tequila, but that's just, you know, me. I also like whiskey because I'm a big old brown man. But the problem is, if you get people always say this too, you're right. Oh, I get like horny when I'm drinking tequila. Okay, so go do it. Go get your booty hole punched out if you're horny. Why are you telling me, oh, I get horny, I can't drink tequila? Okay, so are you saying everybody in this fucking room is ugly? Because you sure were fucking that ugly ass man last week. Like,
this is like, tell me more.
Yeah.
I just want the listeners to know I know the appropriate difference. I am honoring my trans Black mothers and fathers. I know that this is one thing, and then this is like the white.
Yes. It's just, yeah, like, stop being so stupid. I hate when people put their fake rules on themselves. What really fucking grinds me is when a bitch messages you the day that they're off. The whole week they don't message you at all or whatever. A few days they don't even tell you when they're off. They're like, oh, do you want to hang out? Now, normally I'm a spontaneous bitch. Like if someone told me to go to Vegas right now, I probably would go to Vegas.
Right, that's a big one.
Yeah, right? Like it's just like, let's go. But the thing is, you can't say that you're working all week or you're tired, yada, yada, yada. Bitch, I'm tired too. And then you're going to be like, oh, are you free today? Yeah, I'm free, bitch, but I'm not. Yeah, like, plan better. Like, don't fucking put it on me. Oh, I never see you. Well, because you're not planning better, bitch. You're too busy out in the alleys, again, getting your booty hole punched.
But like the people who like, because everyone's gonna do it. So if you're not owning it, that's my thing.
Yeah.
You gotta own it.
Yeah.
Like, well, I'll give you a more tangible one.
Thank you.
These keto bitches, these fucking Hydrox bitches, these CrossFit bitches. Like, that's your whole personality. Use a bitch.
Yes. Yes. Those.
The fitness, the de-influencing around fitness. I'm like, we don't need any more influencers around fitness. I am a fitness girly. I am like working out all the time. I want my titties to be big. I want my booty popping. And there's days like today, I walk into the gym, I stretch a little bit to get, do a full body workout. And I'm like, my hamstrings hurt. And my bitch ass walked right out of there sipping my energy drink. And I said, you know what? Different strokes, different folks sitting here. I don't want to do it. There's too many people. Right? It's not so important to me that I am making sure and beating the fuck out of myself to go to the gym and do these things. I'm like, you know what? I'll do it some other time. Like it only adds to my identity. It doesn't make up my identity. But I'm like, we figured out the jawline, figured out the like legs, we've taken GLP-1. It's like, there ain't no cheating, bitch. The cheating is if you're lying about it.
Yeah.
I will always talk about it. I'm like, little fat Joey needed some healing, honey.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's like, that's true. You're right. Like, just admit that you're using the drugs. Like, you hear that, guys? Admit if you have a problem that you do drugs. But admit, like,
too.
Yeah, like, just admit.
Help you do less.
Yeah, just admit. Well, yeah, it's like, admit it. It's like, we know that you can't, like, we know scientifically that you can't lose. Like, on a normal level, they say, right? I haven't experienced it because, I'm abnormal. On a normal level, it's usually 1 pound per week, right? And so, like, 5 pounds in a month. So in 6 months, you should only lose about 20 to 30 pounds, right? Like, that's like a plus or minus. Not like 40 or 50. One bitch was online. I don't know what her name was, but I just saw her. She's like, I lost 50 pounds in 6 months. First of all, bitch, that's fake because you weren't even fat. So where did the weight come from? And second of all, I know you're using Ozempic. I know you're using it. And it's okay. Just say it. But it's so fucking funny. Like, you read my fucking mind. On my notes, I had something about fitness influencers, about my going out. You fucking read my mind. There's too many of it, and I don't like it because I don't like that they're first of all, most of them are Republican. Sad. Second of all, most of them suck Trump's cock. And third of all, they're not even saying shit right now about whatever's going on. Like, if you have 100,000, 200,000, 1 million followers, I don't give a fuck if you're the fucking scientist that cures cancer. You better have some sort of opinion about what's going on in this world right now and say something. Use your platform for good, because if you can influence people to go buy those supplements and shove them up their butt through an enema, you could probably influence people to make the right decision in different ways. And you have the power, but you don't want to, because you never actually were in it for the health and wellness, because health and wellness means that we all live in a good community. We all live in a safe environment, not this hostile shit where people are getting plucked off the street. So, sorry, that was my soapbox. It's
100% real. Like, nothing happens in a vacuum. You can't talk about, like, telling somebody to do the right thing and go to the gym whenever they, like, work X amount of hours, when they have this many responsibilities, when you do these things. So then you start choosing that, then it starts to, everything else falls apart. Like, it's all interconnected. So, like, everything has to be a, like, holistic approach. Whether that's WHOL or that HOLE.
Yes. Yes.
All of it. There's like, that has to be the approach, and we can't talk about those things. I'm like, even people like celebrities, I'm like, you're so afraid to lose what you have, that you refuse to, like, negate. Like, choosing the middle ground is always going to be, like, downfall.
Pussy behavior. Pussy fucking behavior. It's like
Base P, not little B.
Yeah. And it's like, yeah, no, and it's like you already have millions of dollars. Okay, you don't get a movie for 2 years. Well, change your fucking spending habits, bitch. Just, figure it out. You have access to all these financial advisors who can help you. Like, it's not going to be the end of the world. Yeah, and even like the Golden Globes, when I watched it last week, I was telling my friends, I was like, nobody really like spoke like out about what's going on, like they wore their little shitty small little pins. And it was white too. Like it wasn't even like glaring in your face where you could like read it. I had to like crop a photo and zoom in to see what they were wearing. And it's like, just say something, just do it. Like that's the thing. Like like you said, right? Like people like earlier, people should take chances. People should take risks and try something new. Try something new. You might get actually something out of it if you try something new and you do something right for the country, right? Like, and my biggest problem with these fitness influencers, these health influencers, is they don't, you're right, it's the same shit, right? Oh, lift these weights, do this thing, eat this protein bar, take this thing. It's like, okay, well, first of all, nobody has all that money to spend all money on all these random shits that you're asking. People can barely eat. People can barely buy eggs. Are eggs cheaper? No. Is gas cheaper? No. So like, how can people go and buy Bloom energy drinks, Celsius energy? I'm not shading anyone who drinks those things, but like, what I'm saying is like, you're asking all these people to do all these other things because guess what? They need that energy to go to the gym. Because we're living in a world where we're getting fucking punched and stabbed in the head because we don't have no fucking energy. Sorry, that's just my little shenanigans. Yeah, soapboxes. And I know we're coming close to an end. And I feel like this might shut off as well. Oh, okay, great. Yes, we'll boost her up. So it has been amazing having you on today's episode, on the first episode of the year. I really appreciate getting to speak with you and also just hear your stories and hear your perspectives. I think we've really talked about some important things. Is there anything that you would like folks to take away with before we end?
You know what? Like, just words to live and die by, or fuck bitches, get money.
Okay, I love that.
By bitches, I mean the man and status quo, and by get money, I mean move to the coast of Spain and just drink vermouths and aperitifs for the rest of my life.
Yes, I love that. Well, folks, today on Chimey River, we learned that being an abstinence is abstinent. Get your holes punched, stop being a tight ass, and just do it. Just do something. Just take a risk. From the famous words of Joey, take a risk, stop being abstinent, and step your motherfucking pussies up. So, until next time, we will see each other again, but stay hot, stay classy, and stay queer. Thank you, everyone.